Boy, did we not want to live to see this day. So it is a third consecutive loss. And the only thing Pakistan could hold on to by way of like records and clean win streaks has now been broken. Afghanistan has beaten Pakistan for the first time in one day cricket, and all those useless bilateral series victories just before seem to pale in comparison to the significance of this win. I've got Zahid with me. Zahid, for anyone wondering how tough it is to do these videos after such horrible losses, why don't you just talk us through the emotions of watching that horrible Pakistan performance?
Yep, you said in our one of our previews, right? At some point, Pakistan's luck is going to run out against Afghanistan, and oh boy, did it run out!
Oh,
Along with
today.
Naseem Shah's injury, I think Pakistan's luck also went away, and it was probably the worst performance of all time by Pakistan. I have not seen a worse performance. Ireland 2007, we were discussing this, potentially right up there, but at least in that game, Pakistan gave it a fight. They ended up losing by 3 wickets and green top and everything. But here to be outclassed by an Afghanistan team where at no point in time, even with the bat, you never looked ahead of the game. Even with the ball, I mean, with the ball in the field, even forget about it. Hopeless performance. They don't deserve to be there. They should just come back home. Honestly, it's been probably the worst and one of the darkest days in Pakistan cricket. I really don't know what to say. It's horrendous. Well done to Afghanistan. Look, credit to them. They bowled, in control. They bowled well, but their batting was just exceptional. Okay, we gave it to them by ridiculously poor bowling, but they hung on and they learned from their mistakes against New Zealand, where they collapsed. At one point, when a couple of wickets fell, you could have thought, okay, maybe they're going to mess it up again. But everybody got in, got a score, and got them over the line quite comfortably. I mean, the fact that they chased it in the 50th over is just flattering. They just let it get to it, but they could have easily, if they wanted to, chase it in 45, to be honest.
But I'll tell you what was most impressive about Afghanistan's victory. They ended the first phase of the game on the back foot. Iftikhar's innings had sort of shifted momentum back towards Pakistan, and you went into the halfway stage feeling that the momentum was firmly with Pakistan. Another team, dare I say our team, in that same position would have let that shift in momentum get to them, right? You've seen it so often. I remember West Indies Pakistan in the 2014 T20 virtual quarterfinal. We were beating them in the last 5 overs, went for like 60 runs. And then we came into bat and we were 50 for 6 or 30 for 6, right? It happens so often that when you lose momentum, you just don't start the chase well because you spend the entire break thinking about what could have happened.
So many
But
times.
Afghanistan,
New Zealand 2011,
oh,
the
of
Ross
course,
Taylor
yeah,
match,
no,
the West Indies 2015, one for
yeah,
four. Every
it really
time.
makes a difference, right? But Afghanistan came, it was as if they said, you know what? We can't control the past. The past is the past, it's done. This is the score. We can only control what's in our hands. And that's exactly what they did. They said, you know what? We're going to chase this out. Whatever total, it's 280, we need 283. Or it was 282, we need 283 to win. And we're just going to focus on that. Let bygones be bygones. Don't dwell on the past. And that is so professional and characteristic of champion teams. They don't dwell on the past. They look ahead. They came out suddenly. It felt like with a switch, the momentum shifted Afghanistan's favor. Now I'm going to say Pakistan did make it easier for them. Okay, take nothing away how brilliant they were, but let's start from the very beginning. Shaheen Afridi. Okay, yes, he's a very good bowler. Yes, he's starting to get his pace back up, but you can't give away 10 easy runs off the first over, right? The first over is perhaps one of the most important overs. It sets the tone. Pakistan just seemed to always be on the back foot. It was almost as if they took for granted that they were going to win. They thought, kahin na kahin wicket aa jayegi. So all we have to do is just do the basics, whatever, and don't even do the basics. Something's going to happen. And only when Afghanistan had like 100 runs left to get, they were like, oh, shoot, I think we could lose this. And suddenly the misfield stopped. suddenly the desperation started. But yet Imamul Haq will always just dive over the ball, and I mean that guy is so hopelessly unfit. It's just madness. But yeah, I think that's what happened. Pakistan did not take the Afghan threat seriously enough. It's either
Yeah,
that or the fact that they're just hopelessly bad in the field now.
yeah. I think look, this was very similar to the Asia Cup game against Sri Lanka, where we thought we had the momentum at halftime. We thought we'd gotten enough,
Absolutely.
and Sri Lanka came flying out of the box and absolutely decimated us. And they should have won that much easier than they actually did. Again, right till the end, till they had 50 runs to go, we made it. They made it interesting for us. And similarly, Afghanistan, there was a phase in the 42nd, 43rd over where they were like 11 dot balls in a row, but it was too late by then anyway, and some of Babar's decisions didn't help. Look, it's not about losing. Okay, if you have lost in the last over by 6, 7, if you've taken 6, 7 wickets, you're playing in Chennai, the famous J-Paw ground where it's supposed to spin. How many wickets did your spinners take? Absolutely zero. They didn't even have a threat.
Shocking.
They didn't even have a threat, right? Okay, Osama Mir, I'm sorry. I think he had a bad day, and I think that is his career, or at least his World Cup done. They've given him his chance. He hasn't taken it. We were advocating for him, but he's just not delivered. Shadab Khan, again, just by virtue of his rather poor 40. I mean, that was not a very good innings in the context of the game. Run a ball 40 when you're batting in the end. Will secure his place because on this, he's stat pad is going to go 40. His bowling will be ignored. Now Nawaz will come in for the next game. He won't do anything, and it'll just be a merry-go-round of all these players coming in and going. So look, I don't know what really to make of it. Haris Rauf, 17 runs in his first over again. I don't know. He's taking this cricket for documentary too seriously, or what? That he thinks he's the next best thing now since Shoaib Akhtar, and now he's going to conquer the world. You need to start performing to do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
you've
Horrendous.
touched on three important points here. First one, let's talk about the last one, is Haris Rao. You know, the benefit of bowling second is you can see what works. And forget this match. This entire World Cup, what's worked is pace off. Yes, the fact that you have pace helps. How does it help? Not because you're bowling fast on these wickets, but because the change in pace is that much more significant. But going from 148 to 118 is almost significant than 130 to 118, right? That's where you're most effective. You got hit for 3 boundaries in that first over, and then the fourth boundary, you still were hell bent on bowling at 147 clicks. I mean, this isn't a speed competition, okay? Like, no, there are no prizes for that. Look at Mark Wood. He got absolutely annihilated, albeit against a better batting outfit, right? So the problem with Haris, and you know what? I'm gonna actually now start pointing the finger at Mone Morkel. Okay, he's been your bowling coach, right? We haven't talked about him at all on on these podcasts. You know, Mickey Arthur, Grant Badman, but I've just focused on Mone Morkel for the last couple of days because I'm like, when did this guy come in? He came in, I think it was Sean Tate until
Yeah.
February 2023, right? And Sean Tate did a great job, right? We were the best bowling attack. I know it was T20, so I'm not comparing. I'm sure this bowling attack will also be good, but there's clearly a drop in quality here. Vernon Philander, Sean Tate, and now Moni Morkel. I don't know what gets talked about, but the basics are missing. Secondly, the point you made, Shadab, honestly, I thought it was a pretty good innings in the circumstances because I actually think 282 was a good enough total. Now, Pakistan at the time, because Pakistan, as usual, make every pitch seem like a minefield. It's one of those things if just because Pakistan make it look tough, just like we did against India and Ahmedabad, that suddenly you had fooled Nasser Hussain into saying that this is a 250, 260 wicket. It's not. And this you probably needed your 20 run short, maybe, but still I thought they played well at the end against a quality spin attack. But Osama Mir, Shadab Khan, and Iftikhar Ahmed. Firstly, Iftikhar Ahmed is your best spinner. Why isn't he bowling at the end? Why don't you give him his full quota? Secondly, Osama Mir, right? We talk about him. Unfortunately, his World Cup career is over. But I actually blame the entire team management. You don't play enough one-day cricket. But the one-day games that you do play, you need to develop your bench strength. You've been playing these full-strength teams to try and get to world number one. And then when push comes to shove and they lose form, poor Osama Mir gets dragged into his first game at the Bengaluru against Australia. I mean, poor guy.
Yeah.
And Abrar Ahmed is sitting in reserves.
Yeah, but it's not that Abra would have done anything extra with his,
True.
because he has no
Yeah.
experience, right? So it most likely would have been the same thing. It's easier because it's easier to miss the person who's not playing and say how good they are. Just like we
So
were talking
true.
about Osama Mir. In a couple of games, it'll be the same for Fakhar Zaman because of Imam's performances. So these things will keep happening. The fact of the matter is, even Shadab Khan, I don't know who has made him vice captain. He is so hopelessly out of form. The guy just, and he seems to be having a good time on the field. He just does not seem serious, or he just thinks he's having a really good performance, and he's being let down in the field. He's bowling short balls every 2-3 balls are
Terrible.
short, wide. And even you go back to the Haris Rauf's point, right? He got hit for 3 fours. Okay, 4 fours. The fourth one was inside edge, but the other 3 were square on the offside. If you want to bowl fast, you have to bowl full and straight. I mean, that is the basic. And you saw Matt Henry against Afghanistan. Gurbaz hit him for 6 straight over long off. And the next ball, a couple of balls, he bowled full and straight, and he bowled him. If you are going to bowl with pace, that's what you need to do. You can't bowl it through 3 stumps outside off stump, and you're going to get carved away. It was, again, made to look like a club team. And aided especially by some of the fantastic decisions by Babar Azam. Honestly, he had this press conference. It is, okay, you're mid-tournament, but honestly, it would not have surprised me if he was just given us his captaincy and been I cannot do this, because he clearly cannot. In T20s, he's gotten away with it. He can say, oh, semi-final and final. The final was a lucky break, but that's just because of the format. Honestly, for one-day cricket, he is not good enough.
Any form of cricket, Babar Azam doesn't have it. And look, everyone, people say, well, Babar Azam haters. Don't get me wrong. I like Babar Azam. I have no choice but to like Babar Azam because he's the closest we have to a superstar. I want him to do well. And I think he'll be doing himself a service by focusing on his batting. We've said it before. It's the captaincy pressure in big World Cup, ICC tournaments is impacting his batting. First and foremost, he is far too timid because the fear of losing creeps into his mind. Secondly, his decisions. First and foremost, let's just talk about them for a second. You've got spinners, you've got a spinning wicket, you've got spinners who you have to back. Why not try something? Why not bring Ifti on? Iftikhar is a knack of breaking boundaries. Even if it doesn't work, you have to try things rather than going on what you have thought of in the dressing room. You're banked on Shaheen Afridi's 3 wickets, and if that doesn't happen, you're still going with the same strategy. Secondly, the weirdest thing I've seen in my life, you have the ball reversing. Hassan Ali has just got a wicket, and then at the other end, you've got Iftikhar, who just found prodigious turn off the rough when the left-hander was playing, and suddenly I was like, oh, this is a pretty good captaincy. He's brought Ifti on against a left-hander. There's a bit of turn, off the rough. Something happening. Reverse this, great. And then what happens? Haris comes on, not bad captaincy, and then it all goes haywire. And then you bring Shadab at one end, Osama Mir the other, and you're like, what's happened? I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what Babar Azam was thinking. He was thinking, you know what? I'm going to keep my spinners until the 40th over when I get the extra fielder outside the circle. Exactly. So I'll just try and get these quick overs from these Haris and Shaheen, God knows who they are, and then bring back my trump card, Shaheen.
Assuming that the game will go all the way till the 50th over.
Exactly. He is still, I'll tell you what it is. He is still thinking about Melbourne. Okay. Yeah. He hasn't recovered from Dubai against India and Melbourne against India, where he brought his pacers on best and he was left with Nawaz again. I'm going to say it here. He did the right thing on those occasions. We just lost because of excellent batting, but he did the right thing. Here, he's done the wrong thing. But he's like, you know what? Even if there's 2 rounds of 24 balls, I still want my best bowlers at the end. For what?
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, especially when the team is so far ahead, the chasing team, you can't expect the game to go till the 50th over. You need to finish it off in 45 overs. If it doesn't happen, that's it. You've lost the game anyway. And secondly, I think when you talk about the power play, you had two right-handers. You could have tried Shadab or Osama in the power play. If you don't want to try Ifti, that's fine. And they've got off to a good start, 6 overs, 30, whatever they had. Bring on a spinner and try and, bring on a leg spinner and try and make the two right-handers, go after the ball. Try him for 1 over, 2 overs, and potentially, they'll create a chance. But no, that never happened. He went with Haris, who went for 17 runs, and that literally just completely took the pressure off. And they were always ahead of the game. And that's the problem with Pakistan. Because you don't have that wicket-taking knack, if the game's away from you on run rate, it's impossible to pull it back. And we saw it today.
But it's almost as if Babar is playing a different game to us. It's like we're watching a different game. It's like a completely different match situation. Shadab and Osama have suddenly come in. You've got Haris sitting, and the reverse swing was gone. It was gone by the time these pacers came back, and it's really depressing, And Ifti never bowled again. After that one ball that turned square, that was his last ball. If anyone told me at that time, this is his last ball, I would have been shocked. But anyways, it's not just the bowling changes. How can you create pressure when you refuse to bring men inside the circle when the new batter is in? You still have 4 outside saving the boundary, and those that are saving a single are on their heels. So they're not really saving a single. It's not like you're defending 350 here. It's not like they need 9-10 runs and over. They just need less than a run a ball. You have to stop and let them soak in the dot balls. But I don't know, maybe things, and I sometimes think maybe things are less obvious when you're in the heat of the moment and the pressure of the game. But for a seasoned campaigner like Babar Azam, it seemed as if he was going on a whim. It was like he was trying to take out the MS Dhoni in him. And I just, like the Joginder Sharma inspiration. And one then, but then, just get Osama Mir and he'll get me a hat trick.
Those things only work against Pakistan. The Aiden Markrams, the Aaron Finches.
Exactly. And
they only work against Pakistan.
But I don't know, because he's vice captain. He bullies his way into getting the ball. Every time he got the ball, he went for runs, and they kept changing his ends, everything. But anyways,
okay, the last thing I'd say on that is, look, okay, fine, fielding horrible again, again until the last. Well, again, that's maybe not in Babar's control. It's just poor fielding. Why doesn't the coach or team director, you have so much staff, why don't they send a message out? Can they not see the game from the outside and realize, okay, he's got his mistakes, he's doing things wrong? I don't know if they've given Babar full independence during the game to do whatever he wants. So the whole management team really needs to take the blame for it. But overall, look, at the end of the day, Babar Azam has to put his hand up. And I was a bit disappointed in the press conference. I think he's scared to lose his captaincy or something. He needs to step up and be like, look, this is my responsibility. I've messed up. I need to be blamed for this. He just doesn't have that in him. If India would have lost this or something, someone who's confident in their place, Sharma would have stepped up and said, look, we messed up. And although that would never happen, but if it did, he would do that. And at least the good thing is at least he showed up at the press conference. The previous Australia game, they sent Abdullah Shafiq.
Poor guy. Come on, at least send Rizwan or
sending the land to the slaughter,
Remind me of Christchurch when they send Naseem Shan. Was it Zafar? Zafar Gohan?
Zafar Gohan,
and he was like, he never played again. Poor guy sitting there on debut. Look, for me, I think it was also, if you noticed in the post-match presentation, he said, the ball was still spinning when we came out to bowl, but we didn't cash in. Do you know why he said that? He said that because he was justifying his decision to keep Shadab and Osama. And why is he also doing that? I'm going on a whim here, I could be wrong, but I think he wanted to justify why he batted the way he did against Afghan spinners. So the ball was still spinning. He could not just believe that actually maybe it wasn't as conducive to spinners as you made it seem. But he just kept saying, no. If I played and I took so long, it must be a spinning wicket. Shadab, Osama, Shadab. Oh, it's reversing. No, but Shadab, Osama, Shadab. Are you sure it's reversing? No. Let me try Osama again. Let me try Shadab again. And you're like, it was really depressing to see. And you had three or four commentators on air criticize Babar Azam, like in like plain daylight. So I think that's a real shame. But look, it's happened.
Yeah.
Our worst fears have been realized. Afghanistan have broken the curse. And look, let's face it, as I said before, there was only a matter of time that our luck would run out. And you have to sometimes just say that Pakistan cricket is in decline. You
Yeah.
will have small moments when you'll have, oh, we reach a final because Netherlands beats another favorite team or whatever, and you'll forget everything else. But think about it this way: a victory in a global tournament is a validation of your infrastructure and cricketing system in the country. Simple as. You cannot tell me that in a country of 240 million people there isn't a world class spinner. You can't. It's just not possible. It's a
Case
failure.
in point, New Zealand, 5 million people. Mitchell
Exactly.
Sandner, who on paper you would think he's like, who is this guy, right? He's such an easy ball to
Exactly.
play, and
And
he's
they
got the
don't
best
just
economy
have
rate.
him. They have that Ravindra. They've even got Ish Sodhi, who isn't playing anything. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got, in 5 million people, and here we are 240 million. It's just not possible. But what that tells you is the system has failed. The system fails to get the world class spinners in and the talent, to get the talent to go up the ranks. You rely on once in a generation talent being spotted off the streets of Quetta, Karachi, Islamabad, Gujranwala, to get you to get you to success. You had it once in the 90s, you ain't having it again. Okay, not in this generation. You have to get your system right. We say this every time, nothing will change. In fact in fact Saeed Ajmal, when was he found? At the age of 33. What was he doing since then? Since when Saqlain Mushtaq retired, where was he? Hiding in plain daylight? This is the point. The system needs an overhaul, and your system can never lead to a global tournament success. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. No, that's it. You need no balls to get you victories in big tournaments.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, look, it's happened. Where do Pakistan go from here? Is it game over? On the basis of this, I would say they are not going to beat South Africa on Friday. They're not going to beat maybe Bangladesh and then finish 8th or 9th. That would be a good debate to have. But
um, Look, the part of me that's angry wants Pakistan to lose to South Africa so that all hope is gone. Right? It's the hope that kills you. But a part of me feels that Pakistan will pull the ultimate Pakistani thing, beat South Africa and Chennai, give everyone that bit of hope to cling on to, maybe edge past Bangladesh, and then we look forward to the New Zealand team like blue-eyed, innocent cricket fans who've never been exposed to heartbreak, and then get absolutely walloped.
yeah,
But obviously, look, that's if you go by past trends, that's what may happen. But if you think rationally, which is difficult as a Pakistani, but if you think rationally, Pakistan aren't good enough. Okay, even if Pakistan, in some shape or form, through rain and through these miraculous calculations that we end up doing at this phase of the tournament, work in our favor, we won't even win the semi-final, right? Um, so for me, I think Pakistan should forget about the result and think about how they approach the next game. It's in
yeah,
Chennai, so they don't need to travel, so they don't need to do anything like that. If I were coach management, Fakhar Zaman is injured, I would make use of that injury and effect a substitution and bring Abrar Ahmed in. You have nothing to lose. Okay, you have
yeah,
nothing to lose. You, no other spinner can do it. Even Abrar probably can't, but
yeah,
you don't lose anything. If you bring Abrar in, unfortunately, you have to play Shadab because Nawaz's batting is so awful at number 7.
yeah.
But maybe Abrar Ahmed could be a good frontline option for you. Some people are even saying, oh, Wasim Jr. I don't think so. Unfortunately, you just have to back the players you have. This is the one change I'll
I
make.
would bring in Wasim Jr. for Harris-Rove. I think Harris-Rove's time is done. He comes back well, but it's too late. I think it doesn't really matter if you go for 25 for 20 runs your first over. It doesn't matter. And he's not taking wickets anyway. So look, I would, he probably needs a rest anyway. He can't keep going 10 overs. I think it's a bit too much for him. So I would probably drop him for the next game. Get Wasim Jr. in.
Against South Africa.
Yeah, do it. I mean, South Africa, we are the worst bowling team in the world, playing probably the best batting team in the tournament, right? So you need to change something. Otherwise, South Africa will smash 500 against you, even in Chennai. If Klaasen gets going, he's going to get, you'll have a double hundred from Quinton de Kock, you'll have a double hundred from Klaasen, 100 from Miller, and we'll be
No,
chasing
but
500.
have you noticed? Have you noticed when other teams are hitting sixes, the grounds feel like the smallest in the world. When Pakistanis try to hit sixes, feel मुश्किलों से it touches the boundary.
Even Gurbaz was smashing it like 20 rows back.
Smashing it. और हमें बिल्कुल Gurbaz, you need to ask the third umpire, was it six, was it four?
Was it one bounce?
It suddenly feels so much bigger. But look, I mean, look, that's what it is. Yeah, fine. I'm not averse to the decision of Wasim Jr. playing. I actually think Hassan Ali is your best bowler, right? And that just shows.
Yeah.
And he was excellent today. But in the middle phase.
Yeah, in the middle phase.
Now, why is it that our bowlers are good? And I'll tell you why. It's because they need extra protection. Because they're so inconsistent, they need extra protection in the boundary. They cannot bowl in the power play. And that is so sad. This is Pakistan, for you.
Yeah. So I think that's enough for today. It is sad and it is Pakistan, but 4 games. I have no hope. I think this team is done. You can clip this. You can do whatever you want with it. Pakistan.
This could age so badly, but I don't care. Because previously you thought, acha, the bowling was good. Or somebody was good. Here, look, if you neither have the batting, neither the bowling, neither the fielding, neither the captaincy, neither the fitness, but I think you're lacking.
This is the worst bowling attack in the tournament.
And even the Netherlands would have easily, not easily, but would have defended 282.
Yeah, they were given a fight.
I
agree. Absolutely. So on that rather sad note, we will see you in the next episode. Fingers crossed, or knives out, sharpen the knives for Pakistan cricket. All right, but do subscribe to our channel. Hopefully you enjoy the content, and it encourages us to keep going. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.